Hi there, and welcome to the show. You're listening to another Effisode. Every other Tuesday, I release a short bit about whatever's going on in the Parks household or whatever's in my head at the time. It's a way for you to get to know me a little better in between my rare disease interviews. The friendship circle. Y'all, if you know, you know. I'm going to link the video to the friendship circle that we were a part of and maybe another episode where I talked about it back in the day. But whatever you're doing, after you're finished listening to this episode, of course, please look in your area if there's a friendship circle near you. They're all over the world, but I know they're probably more concentrated in bigger areas, but please check. This is the most incredible community that I've ever had the joy to be a part of with Ford. It's kind of like Big Brothers, Big Sisters without really knowing what that is, but just general idea. They pair young people up who are in local schools, elementary and high school, with kids like ours. And they have a bunch of different kinds of programs. They have something called Friends at Home, where once a week the buddy will come to your house. Or they have every Sunday, they have Sunday circles, and you get to drop your kids off at like the local community center. And it's all set up, and there's stations everywhere, and there's a buddy with every single kid. So this last year, Ford's older buddy Lily graduated and went off to college. So we were waiting for a new one. And you're not going to believe who it is. Oh, that reminds me, I'm also going to have to link that story. I made a post in our next door that went viral. So when we were at the park one day, this lady came up to us and she had these 3 boys with her, and she was like, "Oh my God, hi." And they were just like talking to Ford and letting him pet their dog. And like we were invisible. And Casey and I were both like out of breath by how just beautiful and stunning it was that someone was saying hi to him and they weren't being weird. But guess what? Those 3 boys that I wrote a post about that I never saw again, one of them is his buddies. Like, not even kidding you. It has come full circle. His name's Avi, and he's the most adorable kid in the whole world. And the second Ford saw him, I don't know if he remembered him, but he like grabbed Avi and gave him a hug, and he was just immediately enamored. And I've seen this switch now since Avi came into our life, that Ford is just like really into having a guy friend. He normally doesn't care about his peers really, and he only hangs out with adults on a regular basis, which has been kind of worrisome. But Avi has like broken him open to like wanting dude friends, and it's it's the most amazing thing. And Ford lights up when he sees Avi, and he talks about him all week. He even says, "Avi." And he likes to look at videos of them together and look at Avi's picture. It breaks my heart into a million beautiful pieces every time. And the thing about Avi is that Avi just shows up and he does whatever Ford likes to do, and he means it. I've even seen with my friends' kids and some of my family's kids that the kids are still awkward around Ford, or they only have, so much time that they want to do something with him because they're bored. But Avi doesn't do that, and he's just so open, and it's really beautiful. So he will entertain Ford's passing the ball for 900 hours, and he talks to him, and Avi's families. Oh my God, I'm going to keep them as my prisoners forever. So, long story. I know I'm kind of like going over a lot of steps, but Ford had his very first play date. He's 6.5 years old, and he got invited to a friend's house for the very first time. I dropped him off at Avi's, okay? I got there. He had just got home from school, so I was feeding him, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just wait until his food's done. And they were like, no, just tell us how to turn it off and how to disconnect it. Like, this is your time. Go. And I couldn't believe how open they were to not even being like weird or uncomfortable or need like a ton of direction. They were just like, just show us how to do it. Nobody does that. And so I was like, okay, you just turn a little thing and then just boop, boop, it's done. We're always saying how simple the feeding tube is, but most people just don't want to learn because they're afraid. They didn't even care. They were like, yeah, undo it. There was like 8 kids in the house of all ages who wanted to just hang out and be a family and, listen to Ford squealing with joy as he played pass. And I left. I went to Starbucks and the grocery store. Granted, I was on the phone with Coram almost the entire time trying to get our Mickey button situation fixed, but I didn't have to spend my time in front of my kids doing that, which I hate doing. And I just left Ford there. And it was amazing. And he had fun. And when I picked him up, I mean, he could have stayed all night. I'm sure they needed to put their headphones on afterwards, but I got to bring Ford to a play date. A real play date. I honestly just didn't even think that was a possibility anymore, especially since he's just never been invited. So thank you, Esther and Rabbi, for the friendship circle, and thank you to the Mazzastrano family for being angels on earth.